Hello, hello, hello. It's me, KB, once again, coming at you all the way from the baby LA, Lansing area. It's Chi-Town's finest. Okay, you see that change behind me. I've been away for a while. I've been to Washington, D.C. again on vacation, visiting my cute little grandkids, visiting my son as well. He's assistant coach out there at Georgetown. So it's always a pleasure to go there and visit with him and Karina, his fiance. So I change is good. Change is always good. I heard a pastor say one time, change brings about celebration, and without change, you really don't have too much to celebrate. However, my subject today is not just about changing to celebrate. It's about changing to be a better person and changing to treat people better. Because I'm gonna take these off because I have something to say. Because I've heard about racial profiling my whole life. I've heard about racism, racial profiling. Originally from Chicago. I reside in Lansing, Michigan. But I had always heard about racism, but I had never personally experienced it face to face when it came down to me. However, I have had some of my kids racially profiled and all of that stuff with the boys and stuff, but I never had experienced it personally. I mean, as a group, we've all experienced it. As a personally, I had never experienced it until it came to my face, and we never know how things are gonna hit until it comes to your front door. When it comes to your front door, it hits different. So it began to hit me face to face one day about 3 weeks ago, and I've been holding it, and it's been hurting so on the inside. So I thought I'd share. And then if any of you have had experiences with being racial profiled and being wrong, racially profiled or being wrongly accused or anything of that nature, I'm sure all of us has had little slight experiences in it, and all as a whole, we've had a big experience with it. So I was with one of my friends, one of my good friends. I was hanging with him, and he stopped at the bank, and he was like, well, come on, go in with me. And I said, no, I'll just wait for you. And he said, it's his personal business, give him personal space. I'm like, no, I'll just wait out here for you. And he's like, no, I want you to come in with me. Come on in. So I go in with him, and he's talking to the clerk in the bank. He steps up to the window. He's talking to one of the clerks. I'm standing to the side because I'm not trying to just be all up in his business and be right, shoulder to shoulder. So I'm standing to the side, and I see this guy, the manager. I see him get up from his desk toward the back, and he heads straight to me. And so when he's headed straight to me, I had no idea he was gonna say what he said. Well, what he said was, "What do you want?" He didn't say, "May I help you?" He didn't say, "How you doing?" He didn't say anything, but pointed his finger in my face. He was a Caucasian guy. No one and everyone in the bank was Caucasian, and they were connected with the grocery store. So everybody kind of looked over there because he wasn't quiet about it. He said, "What do you want?" And then me being the only black person in the store, I drew attention. And so when he pointed at me, he said, "What do you want?" And pointed in my face, and I kind of reared back a little bit, and I said, "I'm with him." And he spoke up, and he said, "She's with me." And so he said, "Oh, okay." So then next thing you know, they told him he couldn't make a withdrawal, and he had money in there, and he was trying to make a withdrawal. So they told him he had to go to another branch. So he go to the other branch, and they call him to the back and asked him, "Who was that lady you came into the other branch with?" And he said, "Oh, that's just a friend of mine." And him being somewhat naive, he said, all her names. He gave him my government. He told him my name, and he said, "Here's a picture of her. Isn't she beautiful?" I'm sure they didn't think I was, but however, that's not the case. That's not important. What's important was they harassed him because he was walked in the bank with a black woman. But if he had walked in the bank with the Caucasian woman, none of that would have happened. If he had walked in the bank with anybody other than a black woman, that would not have happened. So I consider that racial profiling and not allowing him to make a transaction until he answered who he was with and all of that. And in these times and days, that's just so wrong. And so I began to feel bad about that. And then I don't want something like that to come between our friendship. So I try to just put it to the side. But then we went to get something to eat. And my sister, Denise, my sister was with me. And we go into the place and we order, we all get they asked if we want water. We get water. And the water came in little cups, which I thought, oh, well, they can. But then as we begin to look around, everybody else in there had big cup, had a big icy cup of ice water, and we had these little dark colored cups. And I guess they were representation of who we were, dark and belittled. And so I looked, and they gave him dark cup too. I guess they say you love black folks that much. You brought them into this restaurant, you get a black cup too. So I felt offended. I felt like they were offensive. And not only did I feel offended, I feel like that's a place where I don't want to go back, because I could my life could be at stake in that place, because it could have been a modern day lynching, so to speak, because I was treated bad for no reason. I didn't do anything to deserve that. Nevertheless, like I said, it hit different when it comes to your front door. And instead of moving, like I always say, straight as a line, forward is a movement. I feel like these are things that we need to make movements about: racial profiling and being treated less than. And a lot of times people do try to stand up for themselves. But if it's still going on in these days and time, then it's going to be hard to break, hard to make change. And that's what needs to be made, is change. And I just feel like something should be done about it. But what? What do you do when you're racially profiled? What do you do when you're disrespected and someone points their finger in your face? What do? You can, the squeaky wheel gets the noise, gets the oil. I wasn't going to say anything about it, but it's been eating me alive. And so I figured I'd speak on it, and someone else that has had the same experience that I have, has been racially profiled. Y'all can make a comment and tell me how you feel about it. Tell me what your experience was about being racially profiled and not noticing that there's too much of change from how it was in our history. Back in our history. Back for our forefathers. Just imagine the way that they felt when they would walk into a restaurant, the way that they felt when they would go into a bank, the way that they felt when they would say, when signs would say white only, black over here, white only. This is a bad feeling. And in this late age and time and day, it shouldn't be happening. It just shouldn't be happening. We're all the same. We all bleed the same red, and we all should be treated the same, respectfully. And that's all I ask. I don't cause any problems. I don't want any problems. I just want a certain amount of respect, the respect that I'm due. And that's all I'm asking for. So, don't want to just spend my whole segment talking about that, because that was an emotional issue that I experienced for myself. But I want to talk about my birthday's coming, and we're going to celebrate. We're going out, me and my daughter and my sister and friends. And we're going to go take a little ride and go out of town. And we're going to celebrate my birthday, because a lot of times people take for granted that God has given them another chance and another day. And some people didn't make it to see their birthday. I'm not talking about my age. I'm talking about a birthday. But a lot of people didn't make it to see their birthday this year. And a lot of people might not make it. But nevertheless, I'm here. I'm feeling blessed. You know, I'm not a person that holds grudges long. I'm not a person that stay angry long, because anger kind of zaps my own spirit and who I am, and I want to stand tall and stand up about who I am as a person. I don't want nobody's anger and issues to come rub off on me, and now I got anger. Now I got stuff going on with me that wasn't there before I encountered a certain thing or a certain person. No, I'm gonna just move forward. Like I always say, straight is a line, forward is a movement. And let's begin to make a movement toward change, toward our personal life, and being happy and treating people good and treating people right, loving on somebody, loving on people. So if you got a birthday coming, happy birthday. My birthday's on Saturday, and I intend on having the best time and being the best me that I can be. So with all of that being said, I love you. And I haven't done a segment in a while, so I kind of missed that. So you look forward to seeing me more often. Tune in to me, do something, because I'm only going to talk about something that's positive. But if you got something that you would like to share or you would like to talk about, you feel free to send me a message, because you're welcome to join me on the show. Because like I always say, I like to talk, but I don't want to be the only one talking. So talk with me, KB. Until next time. Bye.